Okay, it's 100 degrees and extremely humid, so I thought I'd go ahead and mow the yard this evening. So I thought I'd mow it the easy way. So I set up this temporary electric fence here over to the road, this little bitty patch. I don't want them in here all the time because I had this fenced off because the electric pole's right over there. I don't want them rubbing against the wires. That could be a bad deal. But at the same time, there's some good grass growing in here. And I thought I might as well just turn them in here for a couple hours in the evening on their way to the pen, which is right over there. And this fence is hot. It's just that's the beauty of it. You can just tie it in wherever you want. Of course, I put a good perimeter fence, but with this poly wire, you can just tie it onto a hot wire, and you got a hot wire going wherever you want. So it's pretty good, and the calves are just tickled pink to be in here on this nice green Bermuda grass. And it's good for me because they'll mow it all down. And let's get over here closer to 53, see if we can hear him chomping the grass. You hear that sound? They bite the grass with their tongues and then pull it down. There's that crabgrass in there. They love that. They go after that first. But yeah, let's see if he's got him a big old mouthful of grass all the time there. But it's pretty cool, you know, they're trained to that electric fence. They respect it, so anywhere you put one, you got you a new pasture in just minutes. And yeah, I certainly didn't trust it to keep them in. You know, you never know what might happen. A pack of dogs may get after them and chase them through the fence, or the neighbor's cows may get on your land and they don't know about the fence, so they tear it down. But as a temporary measure inside your already fortified fence around your property, the electric fence is a great way to rotate your cows and then pasture. And I'm learning all the time, and I see now that I'll use a temporary fence and open up just small sections of land within the paddock day after day. And honestly, these calves, you don't need to even electrify this fence. They respect it. They think it's hot. But at the same time, you don't want to pull them too many times, because eventually maybe they'll figure out that you really don't have a hot fence. And the deer, they're used to it being hot, so. I think it pays to keep your fence electrified. But they just love every time you move them to a new paddock, even if it's not any better than what they just came off of. They're excited for that new land. They just go crazy eating. Even if the grass isn't any better than what they just left. They're just like people, you know. They like something new, a new experience. Makes them happy. But this is my first experience having cattle. When I was younger, I helped my brother with his cattle. That was over 30 years ago, and I just did what I was told. I didn't really take much interest in it. I learned a lot, but it's different when you're managing things for yourself. You know, you want to make sure it's done right and everything's taken care of. And, you know, back in those days, I probably wouldn't have taken as much care building a fence or anything else, but now I do. Now I try to do everything to the best of my ability. But look at them eat that grass. They're having a good old afternoon. But you know, I can bring them in and just kind of stage them in this area for 30 minutes or an hour before I put them in their pen at night. And so they get some good forage and they're happy. And those scouts, she took off. She saw this new electric fence and she didn't want any part of it. We'll see how many days we'll leave them in here 30 minutes or an hour every evening and see how many days it takes until they have this grazed down. And it's they're in pretty awesome pasture where they're at. Just to give you an idea. And there's some tall Bermuda there that's gone to seed. They probably won't care anything about that. They're after this green, luscious grass here. It's quite a sound, them pulling the grass up by with their tongues. Pretty loud. My neighbor has a big herd of Angus, and they rotate from pasture to pasture, and when they put them in the pasture, it's 1/8 of a mile away. All those cows on a quiet evening, I can hear them munching that grass 1/8 of a mile away. It's pretty amazing. But I think these calves are looking fine. They're looking fat as little butterballs, which is, they need to keep gaining like that. Look at them graze that grass. Wow. Well, that's a good lawnmower there. It's 3 automatic lawnmowers that aren't polluting the environment with any fumes. And they're actually making you money while they're eating. How fun is that? 1905, we haven't been looking at you much. We'll take a look at your grazing. I'm walking around with a mouthful of grass. While I was at it, I was going to mention the way that you can test your electric fence if you don't have any kind of tester handy with a blade of grass. So you want to place a pretty long piece of grass on there and start at the tip and then slowly move it closer. And then at some point, in this case about 1 inch away, I get a pretty good shot. Get closer and boy, it'll zap you. So, good way to test your fence. Of course, you wouldn't want a blade of grass that was wet with dew or anything, because you'd get the full shock. But see, they those calves, they learn to work around that fence. I mean, they'll go underneath it a ways and graze on the other side like she's doing. Grass is always greener on the other side. See, she's getting her head right under that fence. But she's been doing it long enough, she knows right how far she can push it. Oh, she found it. But my neighbor who sold me these said they're probably up to $4.50 or so. He said maybe up closer to $500. But I think these two heifers are getting up there. The steer, he's a little taller, but he's a dairy breed, so he's never going to be fat like these Angus cross calves. Of course, when you have your own calves, you can stand out here and just watch them eat for hours and hours. It's probably not as much fun to be at home watching somebody else's calves grazing. But yeah, there's no point in mowing this any longer, and it wouldn't make any sense. They can graze here. I'll let all this in this strip grow from now on. It only takes a few minutes to set up this temporary fence. If you have everything together, your post and all, you can probably by yourself set it up in well under 10 minutes. Nothing to it. It's, I just shove a couple posts in the ground wherever your corners are going to be. Run your string around and put some posts in between for support after you got a straight edge. Nothing to it. And when you want to move it, roll it up, pull them up, move it somewhere else. Pretty fantastic. I hope you can hear the sounds of these calves. It's certainly a race to eat as much as they can. And you see, 53, the steer, he's over there in the taller grass. Maybe he's a little smarter. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching the calves eat as much as I did, and if you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.